Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
With the big, bold flavour of HP sauce, making breakfast legendary.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Alun, Cochrane, and Zoe Lyons is with us this morning.
Morning.
You can text the show on 81215. You can follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or you can email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Good morning, Zoe. Thanks for joining us today. It's always lovely to see you.
Oh, nice to be here.
You bring a breath of sea air.
Thank you. A whiff of salty air.
Yes. She lives in Brighton. It's not that she just smells a bit.
Bears and salt water before the show.
She works at a chip shop in Ealing.
Got a pet seagull sat on my shoulder.
I love seagulls, you know.
Do you?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm pro seagulls.
No.
Yeah.
You love an underdog, don't you? If other
They're a maverick. They are, they're little characters, the old seagulls.
I had a standoff with a seagull in my car the other day.
What was
Just
it
wouldn't
in
it would
your
not
car?
move. It wasn't in my car. That would have been
Well,
a
you
bit
were in
weird
your
if I
car.
just.
That'd be terrifying.
I was in the car. Seagull was on the road, and it wouldn't shift. And it was that thing of, am I going to have to run over you? Really?
Hold on, I don't know the end of this story.
I do.
So yes,
Yeah,
you did have to run over it.
It did waddle off, but it gave me a proper look as
Yeah,
it sort of come on.
Excellent. I was once, Alex Jones of One Show fame tried to put them into room 101. I wouldn't have it.
The seagull.
No. Characters.
I'm with her.
Anyway, it's lovely to have you here. And it's lovely to have you here as well, Al. Don't get me
Thanks.
wrong. But, you know, you're a bit of a fixture.
I'm
We don't have to make a special deal out of it. That's what I think. So, first thing, can I say, I was making a sandwich last night, and I took 2 pieces of bread out of my bread bag. Do you call it a bread bag?
Is it in a bag?
I'm already loving this story.
It comes in a bag, doesn't it, bread? I don't mean I've got a special bread bag that I keep bread in.
Mm-hmm.
Like a bread bin. Bread bin, of course, I find very deceptive because it sounds like it's been thrown away.
No, it's where it's kept.
Yeah,
Yes.
rubbish. Anyway, so you wouldn't have a meat bin, would you, where you kept your meat? So this bread, I actually took a photo of it and sent the photo to Daisy because I thought that it looked a bit like an Easter bunny, the slice. You know, when you get bread where they've completely thrown away the idea of the rectangle altogether, and it's all indented in the middle. And I was putting cheese slices on, who are slaves to the rectangle. And the two,
Very keen observers.
yeah, the two together, a horrible overlap, and
Oh, yeah.
they were like cloud-shaped, this
Was it
bread.
sliced bread?
Sliced!
It was well, then that's
What
unacceptable.
happens? What
That's
happens
unacceptable.
Was
that
it
makes-
posh bread? Is that what the problem
No.
was? Was it like artisan or...?
No, it wasn't artisan.
Oh, you shouldn't...
It was Easter bunny bread.
No, but not on purpose.
We'll put the photo on.
I'd like to see the photo.
I'll show you the
evidence
photo
of
and
this.
we'll put it on the goddamn website. It's about time this thing was stopped. What is it? You get the big air bubble in bread?
The hole in the bread, though, is unacceptable. That's where the mayo falls through. If you've got a hole in the
What
middle,
falls through?
the mayo.
Oh, the
Mayo.
mail.
If you've ever got any sort of
It said the mail.
the mail,
Yeah.
the
You
Daily
post-
Mail
you could
falls
post-
through the hole in my bread.
You could post mail into one of those slices with the air bubble in the top.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could go to a premiere taking one of those slices as a clutch bag. And nobody'd even notice. Just hold it by the arch-crossed section.
Yeah.
And you could turn up with one of those slices of bread with the air bubble in the top. There should be the price we pay for bread. And what is it? £8 a loaf?
I think a slice in some shops. £8 a slice, yeah.
Yeah. Somebody should be in puncturing those air bubbles early in the process.
Yeah.
Because we're not getting the bread that we're being led to believe we're getting.
Yeah.
That's my little protest. There you go. It's not right.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
We've got a text in from Reader 536 about seagulls from my neck of the woods. It says, my sister lives in Hove and she was heavily pregnant and walked into Tesco for a bar of chocolate. Walked out the shop, opened the bar to take a bite. She felt a flapping and a sky dog brackets, seagull, never heard that expression before,
Yeah,
but I'm
that's
quite
quite
enjoying it, had swooped down onto her right shoulder and stole her Galaxy bar. That was 3 years ago. It happened again 3 weeks ago in the same place, but he stole her dairy milk. I'm not sure if it was the same seagull. That'd be really freaky.
Well, I don't know.
I'd start to worry if I was being
imagine
stalked.
they have pitches. They're like they're like buskers.
I know, it must, like the same seagull must think, oh, do you remember that time that I got that dairy milk here? I'll go back here and hang out
Yeah,
again.
I reckon they do think that.
Yeah, why not?
I once had a seagull steal a lamb chop from my lit barbecue.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
what I mean about
Yeah.
them. They're absolutely fearless.
Yeah.
They're like raffles.
They're like rats.
Raffles, the Victorian jewel thief.
All right.
They're not like raffles like you get in a pub where you can win like a leg of lamb.
You're unlucky.
No.
You lose a leg of lamb, more like.
But that,
You
I
might
mean,
win
a
it.
whole bar of chocolate result that
Yeah.
is in it for a seagull.
Yeah, that's
Or is it?
Can
Like,
they eat
they-
chocolate?
Yeah, can they have it?
Well, the
Doesn't
weird thing, every now and again in Brighton, you'll be walking down the street and a starfish will land on you.
No.
Yeah, because they'll pick up the starfish from the seafront, the seagulls, and then they'll
Catch a
carry them
falling
so far,
starfish,
and then they'll
put
go,
it
"No,
in
this is a
your-"
bit heavy," and drop it. And I've had a starfish land on my head.
Well, you should put it in your pocket and save it for a
I
rainy
will.
day.
I will. What I do is I nail them to the ceiling of my bedroom, so it looks like I've got a sort of universe in my
That
house.
sounds a great
Yeah.
idea.
It's the more organic version of the fluorescent stickers.
I think if I lived there, I'd just have it on the side of the bed for jewellery.
For rings.
Dangle stuff.
Oh, yeah, it looks a bit like Janet Jackson's. Remember when she had her wardrobe malfunction?
Yeah, I
There was
do
like a
remember that.
starfish.
I remember it well.
Nipple
Yeah.
stamp.
Maybe it'd been dropped there by a seagull. We don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone blamed. What's his name? Justin Timberlake.
I think they did, yeah.
Turned out it was a seagull. Nearly ruined her career.
Did it?
Yeah. She's still alive.
Oh, God. Oh, good.
No, I was thinking of the wrong one. Never mind.
We've also had an email.
It's the
in,
brother,
Frank.
wasn't it? It's the brother who died.
Yes. Yes, it was. I like the idea that he's quantified by how famous she is. The brother.
But, you know,
never
one of the family. One of the family went down. That's all I know. Jackson Down. I think that was the headline.
I think it was, yeah. With
Jackson Down's a very unsuccessful animation. Have you ever seen it?
yeah, was that the precursor to the rabbit one?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's mainly Joe Jackson hitting him with a big leather strap. Red thighs, shining like fire.
We've also had an
Do you
email.
remember Joe Jackson's quote when Michael
No.
Jackson died? He said, well, something very strange went on. 1 minute it was live, next minute it was dead.
That's what he said.
Yeah, that's the normal order, Joe.
It's good to meet a fully qualified doctor at the scene, though, isn't it?
Yeah, don't mean many of them in the Jackson house. Anyway, that's the topical stuff out the way.
the Wacko Jacko routine.
Yeah, exactly.
And the wardrobe malfunction.
Oh, dear.
You're listening to Absolute 90s,
That's
is
what
it?
they should do. They should. That's what they should do. On the decade stations, they should be doing like on Absolute 80s. They should be doing minor stripe material.
If we could get on Absolute 90s, I've probably got some stuff about the Millennium Bug still kicking around.
I've got my Gulf War stuff. We'll have to sort this out.
Yeah.
Because what they're doing, the presenters are living in the modern world, and on the music's in a different decade. They need to even things up a bit.
Yeah, totally.
I'm all for that.
Let's compose an email to the powers that be. We can action this.
Okay.
We've had an
See, they
email.
don't have email at Absolute 70s and 80s.
Oh, that's part of the trouble, isn't it?
Write it
Yeah.
on parchment.
Get your fountain pen out.
Yes,
Actually-
my Peerless 125.
Yes. We've had an email about something I said in the show, but I'm very happy to come back to it if you want. Or
No,
okay.
My God, Miss Jones.
We're bashing on, are we? We've had an email entitled Big Men in Small Cars. Now, I don't know if you remember a mere week ago, you got a bit tense about my suggestion that fat men in very small cars was funny to look at.
I don't know if you can say fat anymore. Zoe, you're
Larger,
you're
the larger-
extremely politically correct.
Larger.
Extremely
fat man.
politically correct.
Yeah.
Honestly sounded like he was going to say, you're extremely fat, didn't it?
It sounds like I'm sat here cross-legged in a poncho,
No.
which I am.
Yeah. I should say, in case you don't know, Zoe is 38 stone. so this is a tense moment.
And currently sat in a Cinquecento.
Yes.
Bless you.
Well, where you get your food from is your business.
So the email, hello, listening to the podcast of last week's show, I was very amused by Alan's suggestion, notice very amused there, of recruiting a fat man
That'll be on the Edinburgh poster.
Very amused. Of recruiting a fat man to be the new presenter of Top Gear and be squeezed into small cars. It reminded me of a school friend 30 years ago. He was big and ginger-haired, a kind of spherical Ron Weasley, and inevitably his first car was an original white Fiat 500, which are the tiny little ones.
Okay.
Another friend who went on to become a journalist described watching him get into his car as like watching an orange squeezing itself into a ping pong ball.
So
I'd pay to see that.
That's poetry.
Yeah,
so.
that is beautiful.
Good, yeah, we'll have that one.
Rather than fatty abuse, that is...
Don't think I did any fatty abuse.
No. Of course, one thing we don't have on this show is anti-gingerism.
No?
No, I've got one in the family. Changed my view completely.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
That's that. That's done with now. I've outroed it. So forget about it.
Outroed. Good.
I think that's what they call it.
It is.
Faded out.
Very slick.
Can you never look at me and say faded out again?
Sorry.
It's very bad for morale.
I gave you a proper dirty look because I did it as well.
Yeah, I did. You don't get many dirty looks.
No.
I tell you what I haven't had for years, the glad eye. Do you remember that?
What's the glad eye?
It's what you give someone when you fancy them. And they used to call it the glad eye.
I got one this week.
Did you?
Oh, it happened so rarely that I properly noticed it. I was like, yeah,
Brilliant.
still got
Do you want
it.
to give us the details?
I think it was the glad eye.
See, now you've been pressed on it.
Conjunctivitis.
They were-
That's the other.
It could have been just the wandering eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The lazy eye.
To be fair, actually, they were wearing sunglasses, so they could have been looking anywhere.
You can't get the glad eye from someone in
Unless
sunglasses.
they pulled them down onto the crook of their nose and
I'm
then
really
looked
desperate.
frosted. That would be sexy.
That'd be a good glad eye.
I convinced myself it was the glad eye.
I don't know what's more embarrassing, being caught in a lie or catching someone in a lie. I've often thought that. So I went to the Dome this week.
Oh, yeah.
You know the Dome.
The much mocked Millennium Dome. We should be doing this on Absolute Naughties.
I know, yeah. I went to the Millennium Dome and to see. I'm not calling it by its new name.
No.
If people want to get their brand on this station, they can damn well pay for it.
Yeah.
So I went to the Millennium Dome to the Elvis exhibition.
Uh-huh.
Are you aware of this?
Yeah. Sorry, every time you bring up Elvis, I always go, and you never notice.
No, I
you
never
never noticed. It's been 4 years or so that you still
Sorry,
haven't
I've let you
noticed.
down. I'm finally broken you. You've had to do it with a footnote. Well, I'm an Elvis fan, and so I went along. Do you know Elvis?
I've heard of his work.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And it was. I liked it. It's clothes and stuff he owned mainly.
Which you have an interest in, don't you?
Yes, there was a leather wrist strap stroke support from the 1968 TV special.
Why support?
Well, people used to wear those when I was a youth, those leather wrist straps. You know the ones with like three little buckles that go across? And they used to call them wrist supports then.
Right.
And I think that was their justification, that they weren't wearing them just for vanity, which obviously they were. I mean, to be fair, some of them were heavily into archery, so that was different.
Yeah.
But
Was Elvis into archery?
no, I don't think Elvis was into. Not that I know of. Just as well he wasn't, I would say.
Yes.
I think there could have been some terrible stories based around that. Audience members just dropping from the balcony. But, yeah, so I made me think, I'm a bit sensitive about my thin wrists. I'd love to get myself a black leather wrist strap, but I don't know if I could carry one off.
Cuffs.
Yeah.
A bit like a cuff. Like a Like a
goth,
Wonder Woman
like a goth
cuff.
would wear.
Like a Wonder Woman cuff, yeah.
Like a
But did you-
Wonder Woman cuff.
Wonder. Did you say Wonder Woman?
No,
as in a woman who wanders.
Just no
Yeah.
Wonder Woman. She had the cuffs, didn't she?
That'd be a good name for it, and a kinder name for a bag lady. She's a Wonder Woman. Wonders. Yeah, lovely. I don't know if I could carry it off. It's a bit like, you know, when you see those blokes who wear, like, leather necklaces with 7 or 8 beads just at the front.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they're basically saying, yes, I've done yoga on the beach.
Yeah. I have surfed once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a problem with those people, and I don't want to fall into that particular trap. You with me?
Yeah, I think you might be able to carry off the leather cuff though.
Do you think?
Don't wear it on the same day as your leather crown. But
no, well, one's gold and one's black, as well. It all goes a bit Wolverhampton Wanderers.
I don't know whether I'd go for leather. Maybe knitted.
It's a different.
Yeah, it's a different look, but.
Yeah.
like a tennis sweatband.
The trouble is, I'm hoping to do a little bit of falconry with it, and I don't want him to get his talons caught in the knit one, pearl one. That would be awkward.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what they did. They were selling, you know, the classic white jumpsuits from the 1970s. Obviously, they had the originals of several of those, but they were also selling facsimiles.
No.
One of them was about $4,000.
What?
Facsimile?
Yeah.
A fax?
No.
No, not a fax of one. I mean,
An approximation of it.
yes, exactly.
Oh, I'm totally
Not a
confused.
fax. Yeah,
Why would
not
you
a
want
fax.
one of Elvis's old faxes?
People love
Oh
memorabilia.
no, you could say get more for one of Elvis's old faxes, but this was
Hey, send me through some more meatloaf.
stereotyping the king. I actually, I thought it'd be nice to buy one of those 70s jumpsuits, but not wear it professionally, just wear it around the house.
Yeah.
Imagine gardening in one.
White though.
Oof, that'd be alright. People
No.
play cricket in white stuff. That's
Yeah, but
messy.
they get covered in green stains
Yeah,
on
but
their knees.
that'd be
and
quite
elbows.
good, wouldn't it? Having an Elvis jumpsuit with like green bits on the knees and stuff, and
a
lots of
glam
stuff
rock.
in the pockets. And like when if it's a bit cold, you maybe wear a tank top over it to cover the split chest thing. I think they're rarely accessorised. He wears a
No.
big belt. That's about it.
Yeah.
Quite a dramatic collar on them. Normally,
yeah,
aren't
the
they?
mandarin
There's
collar.
a big collar.
Is that what it's called?
You mandarin collar.
Is it?
You weren't on the show when I had my bolt holes. I had a big spot on either side of my neck.
Yes.
I had a kill for a mandarin collar. Yeah, they were absolutely lined up. It looked like I'd removed, like the monster had took the bolt
You'd been
out.
created.
Like he'd had had a couple of days off and thought I'll take the bolt out.
Yeah. Had to go through an X-ray machine.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. The Frankenstein monster at an airport. That's what I look like. Anyway, I didn't buy one in the end. I was with Tim Vine, popular comedian Tim Vine.
Like Tim Vine.
Yeah, he was tempted.
Was he?
Yeah. He had one of those mock-up photos done with him and with Elvis got his arm around him. One of those
Oh,
things.
that's nice.
It looked fine. I like it when celebrities get things like that done. Because you could think, obviously you couldn't meet Elvis, but I'm sure he's got pictures of himself with arms around all sorts of people.
Yeah, probably.
Lizzie, I think, from Prisoner Cell Block H.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's telling me he's got that on a T-shirt, which is excessive.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.
Oh, I've had a very eventful week, might I tell you. I went t'other night. I went to the opening of Sweeney Todd.
You do love the musical theatre, don't you?
I do. So at the are you familiar with Sweeney Todd? Sondheim?
Yes.
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 I went there. It was Emma Thompson and Bryn Terfel
Really?
doing it, yeah. So I got invited to the opening. I was pretty excited, to be honest with you. Got in there and it was... I had a great seats. 5th row, middle of the row.
Oh, that's good.
I was 2 seats away from Jane Torville.
Oh,
That's good.
Martin Lewis, 2 seats away the other side.
What, the money-saving expert?
Yes.
Really?
you must have booked them way in advance.
Well, they were free. I always, when I phone up, I say, what's the closest seat you've got to Jane Torville?
Uh-huh.
And I realise I'm on thin ice.
Ah!
That's rubbish. That's rubbish. Can we cut that live? Oh. Should have been told. So anyway, I got there. Brilliant seat, middle of the road. Show started. Fantastic opening to the show. I thought, I'm loving this. And I just felt a bit of a tickle in the throat. And then I had, like, the most enormous coughing fit. Like a coughing fit when you think, I might either die. You know when you start getting a bit lightheaded because
Yes.
the air's not really coming in, getting a bit, ooh, baby. I got a bit like that.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, and I was coughing, and people, I could sense hatred all around me. You know, there's like big stars on stage singing, and I thought, I've got to get out. And I raced out, and you can't really race out from the middle of a row. And
See, what was a benefit to your seat was then a
Yes.
problem immediately.
Yes.
In the
No, you're right. The whole thing turned on a sixpence. And I also stood on some woman's foot, I mean, quite hard. And like a strappy gold shoe, you know, had no protection.
didn't have a
about
blade on the bottom of it, did it?
No, it wasn't her. I went the other way. I thought, I'm not crossing Jane. I don't want to end up side by side like the end of Ravel's Bolero on the floor, the two of us. So, no, I stepped on some poor woman's foot, and I find that people tend not to wear metal toe caps to opening nights of musical theatre, so there was no protection.
Oh dear.
You know, I got into the bar, and my coughing fit continued to the point where a member of staff came over and asked me if I was all right. And I was just drinking water, and then they said, would you like to come downstairs and watch it with the latecomers?
Oh.
So, I assumed that was a folk band who were going to be playing after. So I went downstairs, and there was about 8 people sitting in this little line of chairs, watching it on a screen.
The tardy.
Yeah, exactly, the tardy. And so I sat there. They were disgruntled, as you can imagine, because they turned up for a lovely night out and not told they couldn't come in. And then I had another bit of coughing thing. So their night, which wasn't going great, they couldn't even hear it on the screen because I'd just been moved. It's as if they'd said, there's a bloke had a coughing fit, can we move him over as a punishment for the latecomers? A further punishment. Because I don't think the screen really hits them hard enough.
Did you get back in for the second half?
Well, what it was... That creaking, by the way, is that's Captain Ahab who does his walk just above us this time of the day, looking for the big white one. And there he goes. And so what we were waiting for is what I believe they call in the trade a suitable break in the programme.
Yes.
So a man came out, a sort of a senior member of staff, and said, "Okay, we're just coming up to a point. We can stand you all at the back." And I was thinking, this night, I was looking forward to this night. One minute you're sitting next to Jane Torville. The next minute, they did bring round a tray of cakes for the latecomers at one point.
That's quite nice.
Yeah.
Wow. When Martin Lewis hears about that, he'll be in the latecomers queue for the free cake.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, at the end of the day, if you've got like Emma Thompson Bryn Terfel one door and Patisserie Valerie the other one, you'd probably go for the music, wouldn't you? Maybe you wouldn't.
I'm not a massive musical fan, so I might go for the pastry.
You say you're not a massive musical fan, 38 stone. Anyway, well, I turned down the pastry, so I'll end up just spitting.
Oh, yeah.
And it was Lent as well.
Fit.
I didn't want to go into the Lent thing with the latecomers. So, anyway, we all got up to go in, and I was even 2 minds whether going, so I thought a coughing fit at the back. And then this man just grabbed my forearm, reassuringly, and said, "We've got you a box."
Nice.
And I thought, does he mean to stand on? Yeah. Like, you know, on the terraces when I was a kid. But I ended up in my own result. I ended up in my own little box there, where I could, and it was no one else in it, just me. I could have whittled in there. No one would have known.
That's great.
I whittle now occasionally, so maybe you don't know about this.
I don't know about this, but I'm quite interested in it.
You know what whittling is,
yeah,
obviously.
a bit of wood. Manipulating wood.
Yes, exactly. I wasn't
Wood manipulation.
Yes, I didn't. There was no wood manipulation in that box. Can I point that out? Good. But it was. They rescued. God bless them. They rescued what had begun as a terrible evening.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Alun Cochrane and Zoe Lyons. You can text us on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
That was good.
Thanks. You happy with that?
Yeah, I like the way you said that was all right. That's good. I wanted to pick your brains about April Fool's Day this week, because I'm normally very anti-practical joke, but this year...
That's odd, isn't it, really, as you're a comedian by trade?
Yeah, but I don't think practical jokes are always funny, are they? Jokes, I think, are quite often funny.
Well, jokes aren't always funny, you must have noticed
but they're
that.
often funny. But you know, practical jokes are often a bit mean, aren't they? When it's all done, like, people go, "Oh, right."
I'm not a lover of the practical joke.
No, me neither.
No.
But I think.
What about the impractical joke?
Much more fond of those.
Is that when you pretend to be good at DIY?
yeah. I mean, why are they called practical jokes? They're not at all practical. They're very opposite of that. They're frippery.
Yeah, isn't it as opposed to verbal? Like, it's a trick. I don't know, why is that today's texting?
That's today's texting. Why are they called practical jokes? Well, the textings on this show, Zoe, they evolve organically. We don't think about it. That's the way to do it.
Best way to be.
I think it was Mr. Ponch who said, "Sorry,
So anyway, what happened was
the captain again.
I was.
She blow.
You need some WD-40 on that.
No, that's not the chair, it's my spine.
Oh, sorry.
I noticed a bit of a leakage around the coccyx since then.
Oh, yeah.
Since then, it's they're just like a pile of pennies, that my spinal bits. Because no, the fluid's gone. Anyway, so did you...
I did a couple. I did a couple. And me being anti-practical joke. But what happened was, I was being driven home by a friend who'd been on at the same show the night before April Fool's Day, and I thought, I got like 2 hours to think of something, haven't I? I could think of something. And I've got a 7-year-old boy who I thought, if I get him with the right thing, he'll be quite excited that he's been tricked by his dad. It'll be fun. So I got up, and I said to him and my wife, I went, "Oh, it's a shame about that power cut this afternoon." And I said, "There's like a programmed 6-hour power outage because they've overused the grid." They were talking about it on Talk Sport last night. That's what I said. I said Talk Sport. I thought that made it sound quite credible.
You've got to hinge it up with some the fine detail.
Didn't want to go too detailed, so Talk Sport was perfect. My wife works from home, so she was like, "Oh no, I'm going to be 6 hours without power." My son had a swimming lesson. I said, "Look, I'm really sorry, but when you go swimming, it's going to be cold because they can't heat the water."
Yeah.
But think about it. Swimming in cold water could one day save your life, so we'll still go. And he's looking like, "Ugh."
Yeah.
And then
I like you. It's like spinning plate.
Yeah. She went downstairs and Googled it and caught me. So that was that done. But then I realised, I'm up at 8:30. I could get my mum and my brothers. I've got until noon, haven't I?
Blimey, you're on a roll.
Yeah, why not? Flushed with success. I sent my mum and my brothers a text message, because I've recently passed my motorcycle test towards the tail end of last year. I sent them a text. Here we are, Group 1. Early start this morning, back in Stockport where I did motorbike tests. Sit my HGV licence in an hour. Wish me luck, people, and a kiss.
It's a random practical joke, isn't it? I'm doing my HGV licence.
Well,
I like that one. Yes,
pretty good though, because they're thinking, well, he's an eccentric, Alun. He's obviously just trying to get a licence in every vehicle going.
It's one that Ali G never thought of. I'm doing my HGV licence.
Well, I then got a few different replies saying, best of luck, you're so strange, it's a weird thing you're doing. And I said, you know, I'm gonna get a licence for this, and then I might start flying light aircraft. And then I sent a group message saying, failed. Turns out an emergency stop in an HGV is not as easy as I thought. I feel bad about the pensioner I startled on a zebra crossing, but I'm determined to take away the positives from this experience. Quite good, that, I thought.
It is. I find it a bit painful as I failed my first driving test because I hit a pensioner on a zebra crossing.
You did not.
I did.
Well, you are a one-man practical joke. That's
Exactly.
what I would say.
Yes, I honestly did.
Was it
Wow.
April?
It was in April. I can't remember her name. Oh, it's jokes like that make life worth living.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
I wasn't very good this year. I was busy. I was too busy to do practical jokes.
Well, that's what the football managers call a good problem to have, isn't it?
It's a good problem to have, yeah, exactly. What I did is I got in at about 5 o'clock, maybe a little later, but it's not important. And I grabbed my son's hobby horse on the way down, and I could hear him in the kitchen, and I just put the hobby horse's head round the door on its own, and waited. And then I heard hysterical crying. And it had really frightened him. And he had like a big, massive crying fit. So it wasn't...
Is this at 5 in the morning?
No, this is 5 in the evening.
Oh.
5 in the morning would be terrifying. If
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be more like something from The Godfather.
yeah.
If that had been a hobby horse, though, in The Godfather, it wouldn't have been so.
Is a hobby horse just a horse's head and a stick?
Yes.
Right,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I didn't show much stick, so it could have been a...
I think I was picturing a pommel horse, you know, like the gymnastics thing.
Well, if that would have
That
been...
would be
If
quite
that
an
poked its
undertaking.
head round the corner, then, yeah.
Yeah, does it
Even
have
that
a head
Terror would have
even?
ensued.
No, not really.
So, no, I had a bad year. Did you, Zoe?
No, I'm not a practical joker.
Do you
I don't-
actively not do one?
No, I actively not do them at all. I thought I was the victim of one at one point.
Made me feel childish now.
I took a job that, you know, every now and again doing this profession, you take a job that you think, I shouldn't really be doing this, but it pays all right, and you think, well, I'll spend the money on something nice. But then when I turned up to do the job, it was one of those ones that was so awful that I actually thought, am I the victim of a practical joke? I thought there might be hidden cameras somewhere.
Oh,
just to say,
dear.
who would take a job like this? Oh, this desperate woman would. This desperate woman with a seagull on her shoulder, waddling her 38 stone.
You thought it was the Zoe Lyons Exposer?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought, yeah.
Illusions of grandeur.
Yeah. That's what I
People
suffered
saying,
from.
I thought there was more to her than met the eye.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not prepared to tell us what the terrible job was?
No, I still need it. Good lord.
Okay.
Bite the hand that feeds. I got I've been sent here a text. We've been sent a tweet from Jamie Smith. Smith with a Y. Is that a Smythe?
Could be. Let's call him Smythe.
Smythe. It's linked to your oppressive 12ths, which I know that you are.
Oh yes, this is a bit of a theme on the show. That my in case you're new, my alarm went off at 6:09 this morning because I don't see why it should have to be 5 past or 10 past or quarter past. There's a lot of perfectly good minutes in between.
Well, leading on to this, Jamie has sent you a picture of a traffic speed limit sign that's depicting a speed limit of 8. Which is quite...
Brilliant.
That's quite out there, isn't it? That's
It's
quite
uncommon.
random.
That
It's
is
uncommon.
excellent. So that's
Quite
just
hard
the kind
to
of
keep
thing.
to, isn't it?
Well, they all are.
It is.
Impossible.
But at least
I
the
don't know
5
about
on
you.
the dial is quite easy to aim for. An 8 on a speed dial.
I'm damned if I can do less than 95 on the motorway.
I mean, I find it hard to do 8 in the HGV because
Yeah.
I'm often unwrapping a Yorkie simultaneously.
Will you watch out for those seagulls? How beautifully the whole thing's been drawn together like a fabulous pomp bag. You know what a pomp bag is?
No idea.
This is a pomp bag.
Oh, I'm enjoying
This
it.
is helping the people at home. What do they call them? Something else now?
drawstring bag that was free with something.
Yeah, that's what they call them.
A free bag.
But because we used to have our pumps in them at school.
Oh, pumps!
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying pomp.
Like circumstance.
Yeah, well, you're not used to the accent. I understand that. I'm doing my best, but I can't go RP just for this morning. It'll upset everyone. Shall we try it?
Yeah, why not?
No, it's time for the advertisements.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
We've had a text saying, Hi Frank, Alun and Zoe, in order of how much I recognise you from this show. Practical jokes describe the person more than the joke. Someone who couldn't think of a joke so just elaborately injures you instead, i.e. someone who is practical and not at all cerebral. Rubbish, in other words. Yours, Eduardo Suarez. Good name.
Yeah, excellent.
Good name.
That sounds like it might be a cerebral joke.
Yeah.
The name. I once was in a Paternosta.
What?
With a woman. You know Paternosters?
No, I don't think I do.
It's
Is
a
this
kind of
mafia thing?
it's a non-stopping lift.
Right.
So there's two open doors next to each other, and there's a lift that goes. It's named a Paternosta because it's a reference to rosary beads. So it's like if you can imagine these compartments are on like one big rosary bead, and they go round and round, and people, you get in and jump out, they don't stop, you have to time it right.
Do they go between floors?
Yes.
How do you not decapitate yourself?
Because you're careful.
What?
Yeah, yes.
Sounds like a health and safety
That's a
nightmare.
health and safety. That isn't health and safety.
Well,
Are you
that's
sure you're in the lift and not the dumb waiter or something?
No. I mean, presumably they still exist. Anyway, I was at Birmingham Polytechnic where they were a regular thing, and I got in one day, accidentally, I got in the wrong Paternoster. So instead of getting up the one getting down, I got in the one going up. And I was on the top floor anyway. So I went up into the machinery. It was like a weird thing. There was like all big, cogs and stuff. And then I shuffled across and came down the other side. So I thought it was quite a lark. So a couple of weeks later, a girl who I quite fancied got in with me. And I held her in. She said, "No, we have to get out. This is the last floor." And I held her in as a joke.
Uh-oh.
And we went into the machinery. She was having a complete panic attack, and then it stopped.
Uh-oh.
Mate, I think the weight of two people was a little bit too much for the cogs, and so we were stopped in complete darkness. And she had a proper panic attack. She was punching my chest like that. and I remember shouting, "Why have you done this?"
Yeah.
And I couldn't come up with a good answer to that. Mainly because I couldn't get any air into my lungs because my chest was being punched ferociously. And we had to wait for, to be released and stuff. So it can go very wrong. And also the ones you get in the paper when they, the spaghetti trees and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
here we go.
Yeah, if you've got any Paternoster-related practical jokes, text 8 12 15.
Or just anyone who can
I've just
back
written
me
down
up that they
Paternoster
exist.
now, because I've got to Google it when I go home.
No,
would
I make up a Paternoster.
I've never heard of a Paternoster.
You might. You are very inventive.
It's not my fault there's a hole in your knowledge, so dear Liza.
Paternoster-shaped hole, evidently.
There was not a very good April Fool's on the Doctor Who websites.
Oh, yeah.
It said that, did anyone believe this? It said that Peter Capaldi had been sacked because he'd punched a Dalek in... yeah, but it says, in the eye stalk. I doubt if anybody fell for that. I'm glad it existed in a way. But no, not good enough.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
I think we should come back to April Fool's Una Momento, but before that, we've got to deal with Paternoster Watch, because you said if Paternosters do exist, let us know, and the switchboard's gone crazy.
Well, I know they exist.
The switchboard's
Zoe
gone crazy.
Lyons more or less call me a liar.
I have never heard of one.
Just off the top of my head, George from Leicester Uni there was a Paternoster, and they used to dare each other to go over the top. Hi Frank, there's a Paternoster lift in Sheffield Uni. I've also been in the forbidden roof space. I went to Birmingham Poly, 85 to 90, and was held at the ground floor. It then switched off when we went underneath in pitch black. It was 8 p.m, so it took a while to find a caretaker to turn on.
That is the self-same Paternoster.
Is it really?
Yeah, Birmingham Poly.
Maybe Paternosters are a Birmingham phenomenon. There was one in the Muirhead Tower at Birmingham Uni. Is that what you mean? Is that a different one?
Well, I don't know if it's called the Muirhead Tower. It's Gloucester Green.
I did the giant cog journey over the top most weeks from Isabel in New Cross.
You see, Zoe? You thought I'd make it up?
Perhaps my favourite one, Frank. I knew a girl at school in the 90s called Sarah Paternosta. Hope that helps. No praise for the show. P.S. On Absolute 90s, I still know her. I like that.
That's good.
That's good.
That's good.
Are they now out of circulation, though, now, Paternoster? Have they gone? Have I missed my opportunity?
Well, no, apparently. Chris from Worthing tells us, Frank, shame on your co-hosts for their lack of Paternoster awareness. Strike them from the pub quiz team. Plus, behind the carpet Paternoster in any B&Q is the best place to take a nap if you're an employee there.
There's a carpet Paternoster.
Carpet Paternoster.
Just simply for moving carpets?
Apparently so. And
or it's carpeted.
For a covered nap.
I love a carpeted lift.
Oh, yeah. On the walls.
Yeah, on the walls is
Fantastic.
Brilliant. Oh, give us a little rub on the lift walls.
If the building collapsed, you wouldn't even know.
No. You could be any side up and you'd still have carpet underfoot.
So, yes. There's someone who sell them. They're called a Paternoster merchant. As opposed to a patter merchant, as what we are called, of course.
Indeed.
Whatever happened to death pranks?
Death pranks?
Yeah, there always used to be a celebrity who died at school. Diana Ross was dead for years.
Right,
secretly dead.
I think they happen on the social media now.
The girl from Aqua.
Has to put the brakes on them.
Remember the girl from Aqua? She died. She didn't, but she died in folklore terms.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney?
I mean, I suppose you could say almost anyone.
Oh no, but there was a few that were Paul McCartney was based on the fact that everyone else had got a brass instrument on Sgt. Pepper's and he got a black one.
Oh,
that's a sign of bereavement. And also on Abbey Road, they all had shoes on crossing the zebra crossing, but he was barefoot, like one would be buried.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, zombies are generally barefoot, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't know if they turn up for photo shoots quite so much as we might think.
Or use zebra crossings.
Yeah, you'd think you'd be a bit more reckless.
The Cavalier Road crosser, yeah.
If he was dead already,
what have I got
you'd be ambling across the M5.
Probably one of them that you hit on your driving test, isn't it?
Just a zombie.
Come to think of it, the entrails did come out all over the bonnet.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
Probably the best April Fool is that Perry Edwards had told Zayn Malik that she was going to leave Little Mix when he left One Direction. And then she went, no, not really. Leave Little Mix? You think I'm mental? They're massive.
That's like the pop equivalent of You Hang Up First, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like the pop equivalent of Sid and Nancy.
Yeah, it is, really, yes.
The failed suicide pact. I don't know if that was a suicide pact in the end, but it's a better story than
it is.
What it could be.
We've got one text just to bring closure to Paternoster watch. I once got pate nostrils when my pal shoved a cracker in my face during a drunk buffet. I was smelling liver for months. From Big Al Binko in Brighton. I've deleted a little bit of praise there for the show.
Yeah, thanks for that. It's a lovely story, though.
Yeah, it's a good story.
Smashing. Zoe, what's happening?
I've had a pretty good week this week, Frank. I had an interview this week. I was not an interview.
Fallback plan.
Fallback plan.
What, an interview, like a job interview, right?
Almost like a job interview. And I'm going to do a little bit of volunteering work, and for that you need to go along and have a little interview.
So good-hearted.
I've got an awful lot of spare time.
I thought he was going to say love to share.
No, I'm very much available. So I thought I would share my resources around, and I thought I'd try and do a little bit of volunteer work, which I think is a good thing to do. I think it's a good thing to do in a little way. So I went along, and you have to have an interview, obviously, because they can't just take anybody.
No.
Well, they pretty much do, but they do have to interview first. And it was the first interview I realised I'd had for probably about 20 years.
Yeah.
20 years. And this was a no-pressure interview. It wasn't for a job.
Did you have to dress smartly?
I brushed my hair.
Okay.
Yeah, over to the side. Sort of, think...
Phil Oakey style.
No, think more Bart Simpson on a Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Sunday hair. Sunday Bart Simpson hair. And, it got... because I hadn't had an interview for so long, and it was no pressure, there was absolutely no pressure here at all. I reacted really oddly, though. It was really odd. They asked me a question about my hobbies, and I thought I might just burst into tears. I don't know why I felt like that. What do you like to do in your spare time? And I went... really like to do a bit of running and stuff.
No!
I like skiing, but I don't know whether that'll be appropriate for volunteering. Sorry, I need a minute.
Remember when you didn't have any? Well, I never had any hobbies, so whenever I got asked, it was always walking and watching films.
Talking, walking, breathing.
I learned, when I got a bit older, instead of films, I took the S off the end.
Film.
Because film sounds much more sophisticated than films.
Yeah.
I like films. I like film.
Yeah.
Oh dear!
Any
that's
sort
terrible.
of film. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Did you get the non-paid
I think
job?
so.
You haven't heard yet. Oh, dear.
I haven't heard yet. You have to have the police check and all of that stuff.
Oh,
and
yes.
I don't think I've done anything wrong, but my memory's not so good.
Yeah.
Who knows? A couple of blackouts over the years.
Yeah,
Could jeopardise everything, couldn't it?
Yeah.
My dad always used to say that if anybody got murdered on his route back from the pub, he'd never be 100% sure he hadn't done it.
There's always that niggling doubt, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm hoping he never said that in an interview. I don't suppose he ever did an interview.
But the thing that struck me was how easy it is to say really inappropriate things in interviews. Because I know we bang on about, teaching kids how to do interviews for jobs and stuff these days. Come on, just sell yourself. But actually, when you're put in that situation, I completely melt down. And I'm used to talking to people. I'm used to being on the stage. I'm really, really bad in interviews. That's what I discovered this week. I'm properly bad in interviews.
Well, you probably never need to do one again, so don't worry about it.
Do you reckon?
That's the joy, innit, of stand-up.
I did one for a job, and there was just me and one other guy in the room. And he was a bit like this, with glasses. And I thought, so I said, so where are you from? And he honestly said, well, wherever I hang my hat.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
And I was so appalled. I said, what hat? And he said, no, it's like a song. And I made him explain it to me, even though I knew exactly what he meant. But he got the job.
You were interviewing him?
No, we were both waiting to be interviewed.
Oh.
But he got the job over me. What does that tell you about life?
You had a better imaginary hat.
Yes. Yeah, I think I had a plumed fedora.
No, you'll never get it with that.
You were going up for jobs as hat models, weren't you?
Oh, yeah. Did I not mention that? Oh, God. I'm terrible at anecdotes.
Skinner, Dean and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
I might sign up for some voluntary work and just deliberately mess up the interviews now. It sounds like quite good fun.
I always dream I've got things like I'm usually on a college course and stuff like that, and I haven't been turning up to. I have that dream a lot.
What, of missing things?
Like I've got a prop, I've got a job, or I've got a job that and then I think, why am I doing this job? And I've got my glittering career. I had a casting this week. That's very stressful.
Yeah, that can be stressful.
How did that go?
I don't know yet. You know, you have to go and you have to learn lines, and
did they ask about your hobbies? In any way?
I think they have to check that now.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, Gandhi the musical.
Is it?
Yeah.
You'd be brilliant in that.
Yeah, I had to go in and sing Gandhi, baby. That's the opening bit.
Yeah.
I register though, innit?
Gandhi, can you come out tonight? No, I'm on hunger strike.
They were asking him out for a meal, is that what
Exactly.
I'd hope at Gandhi the musical that they'd have big white curtains that went up at the beginning of the show, like a sort of toga. That'd be
What,
quite...
to reveal an enormous bare bottom?
That would get my vote.
Yeah, I don't know how it went, really. It's difficult. As you say, it's quite high. My falsetto was indifferent. The Guardian.
Best of luck.
Thanks. I had a Viva when I was at university. Are you aware of a Viva?
Yeah.
Not a Vauxhall Viva.
No.
If the exam is... If
you're borderline.
you go
Yes.
and do like a verbal discussion of what you've written.
What you actually meant.
to see if you can talk them over.
Decipher
sounds
what you were
good.
trying to write in crayon.
And I was... well, I don't want to go into too much detail, but there was a bit in this book about an astronomer who'd gone mad. Mm-hmm. And he said, the guy who's like the expert was interviewing me, he said, and the thing is, you suggest that he longed for, power over the planets, and of course he doesn't. He just it just comes upon. I said, well, no, he does. And he said, well, I can't tell you, no, he doesn't. And I said, well, he does. And he said, well, shall we get the book and have a look? I said, okay. So we got the book and had a look, and this other guy was with him said, oh, no, he's right, he does. And it was one of those, I was right, but I knew it wasn't a good right to be, so I failed that.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, so the secret in life is to not always be right. But that day I thought, no, I'm going to be a bit of a git for the rest of my life. And I've stuck with that, Zoe.
No, it's working.
Thank you very much.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Alun, Cochrane and Zoe Lyons. You can text us on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, email the show via the Absolute Radio website. What have we established this morning by text? That paternosters exist?
Paternosters do exist, yes. And I think that might be about it.
Okay, but that's something.
Yeah, that's near enough it. We did have a text earlier that I didn't bring to your attention. You mentioned that you'd had some strange shaped bread. Hi Frank and staff. I found a blue plaster in a loaf of fresh bread. Just cut past it and carried on with the loaf. From John.
That could have been off a Premiership footballer. You know that taping that you see them with them on their
High-vis tape.
holding their muscle. I don't think it's for high-vis, is it?
That's in case anybody drives onto the pitch.
They don't want to get run into.
Yeah. Well, not unless you're taking your driving test again.
Oh,
and
yes.
it's all gone
Yeah.
horribly wrong.
Yeah, that stuff that holds your muscles together.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds good, that, doesn't it? I could
It's
do
like
with
an
some of that.
exoskeleton.
You are.
Yeah.
We've also had a text from reader 195. My mum thinks you've got a fantastic smile, Frank. She says your nose crinkles and it touches her foolish heart. My mum is 55, by the way.
Oh, that's lovely. I'm really glad
You're listening to Absolute Flattery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great. I think when we get to our age, we can share the odd compliment. Oh, that's nice. And also proves I don't have Botox, of course.
No. No.
Not on your nose, anyway.
Don't people have it all over?
Yes, you can have it, you can have it,
In your nose?
you can have it,
Can
can
you
you
have-
have it in other body parts? Can you get rid of bingo wings with
I
Botox?
hope you can have it in your buttocks, because Botox in the buttocks. I know, it's serious. Seems right to me. Anyway, we have a running theme on this show, Zoe, which you might not be familiar with, and that is the fashion designer Karl Lagerfeld has got a cat.
Something of a friend of the show, really, isn't it?
It's featured about 3 or 4 times on our show, this thing. There was a picture of it using an iPad, I remember, on one occasion.
Yes, yeah.
And he claimed it actually could operate an iPad. But he's an eccentric character.
I think Karl Lagercan's collar's too tight.
Karl Lagerlout.
Karl Lagercan, I like to call him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, he's a man who he likes a clasp.
He likes a very high collar, but he's quite... No disrespect, but he's in his 80s now, and I fear
Is
that
he
if
really?
yes, he's 80, 81. I fear if he ever took the collar off, his head would just sort of roll over like a slinky.
Perhaps he's got my papyrus throat thing. I've got a dewlap developing. Perhaps I think he's keeping the whole throat
Whole thing
tethered.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might get a Diamante clasp
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could go with your wrists, your leather.
yeah.
You've got the whole outfit there.
Oh, God,
Frank.
this has been like
Wrist supports
the
and neck-
accessories catalogue.
Neck scaffold.
You are going to look a picture this time next week.
But a picture of what?
Yeah, Lager Can's collar is less of an accessory, more of a scaffold. I feel. I think it's essential as opposed to accessoire.
But what about Chopette?
Yes.
I was reading about his over-pampered puddy this week. It is incredible. The cat has earned about €3 million in the last couple of years, doing a couple of advertising campaigns.
Is that morally acceptable?
Absolutely. If I had a cat that could do that, she'd be out there every day, bringing in the wonga.
I have to say, I once did I did a corporate gig, personal appearance, with Red Rom.
Ka-ching. Oh, yeah.
With red, that's an odd green room conversation prior to the show, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
More straw, thank you. What if I do?
It wouldn't be the first time I'd ridden my my co-host in the dressing room. Anyway, if Terry Wogan's listening, hello. But I did wonder, because I think he got quite a lot of money for a personal appearance, Red Rom.
Red Rum.
Horses, once you get the colour right, they look pretty much the same, don't they? And I thought, well, if they've got a stables,
Yeah.
you'd specialise in that colour horse. You could be doing 10 gigs on the same night.
Yeah.
Well, they don't look the same. They don't all look.
They look
They'd notice
pretty
if you
much.
rocked up with a Shetland pony, wouldn't they?
No.
Red
Okay,
Rum's
maybe
No, but if it was
Christmas.
all right.
off the telly. He's a lot
Christmas
shorter,
when he
isn't
got
he?
desperate, when bookings really
Yeah.
kicked in, with Great Danes going out.
Yeah.
But you could get away with half a dozen Red Roms.
Oh, yeah.
But Chopette is quite a. This is why Carl apparently loves this cat so much. She is unique.
No, but it's
She's
not, is
unique.
he?
It's
What
not.
he should do is collect cats that look like Chopette and
just
put them
send
all
them
out at the same time, make a fortune. He's a rich man, he doesn't need to. Doesn't need to deceive.
She's got sophisticated taste, though. Apparently, the cat. She won't just do any advert. She won't do cat food advert.
It won't let her do food.
No.
She's too classy for that.
Yeah.
Or
Said she's
something
too
like that.
classy for that. Yes, she advertised Vauxhall Opals, which
Is that right?
yeah.
They're probably actual opals
Yeah,
that were
Opals.
mined in Vauxhall,
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
just next to the Thames there. It has 2 maids to look after it.
That's one of those has got the easiest job in the world,
Well,
haven't
both
they?
of them.
I mean, they're both pretty
Can
easy
you
jobs, but the
imagine?
one that is not pulling their weight is having a right old time of it. isn't
Can you
it?
imagine how much time they spend on the smartphone? Those maids just sitting there. I bet they have to bring a charger to work.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.
I'm terribly
Frank's
sorry.
had too much toast, ladies and gentlemen,
I
during
really
the song.
mistimed my run. How unprofessional. I apologise.
It's
Was it
Marmite
misshapen?
too.
Carl's cat never does this.
No.
No. Hey, Carl's cat has made like that £3 million just from 2 different TV advert jobs.
how did that
That is big money, and it
Enormous.
makes me think. If the cat applied itself, it could make even more money. Like, from what I can gather, that's just being a model on TV adverts. Not even the catwalk. Sounds like she'd be a natural at the catwalk.
Yeah, and it never does any radio stuff.
No.
But the catwalk.
Yeah.
The cat. It's a cat.
Yes, I get it.
It's a catwalk.
I'm with you.
I mean, I just can't understand why a model wouldn't be on the catwalk when it is a cat. It's perfect for it.
I accept that.
You say €3 million like it's a lot of money, but it's a pittance compared to Ugly Cat.
Why? What's ugly?
Ugly Cat has made, I think, about $60 million.
Yeah, but is it happy?
What is ugly cat?
Ugly Cat is simply
I mean, I
that.
know.
It's just a
And is it a
What's the
famous
thing,
ugly
that's an
cat?
internet
grumpy
phenomenon.
cat. Grumpy
No.
cat. Grumpy
I don't-
cat.
I haven't
it's a
seen
thing.
internet
it's an actual thing.
phenomenons.
It's an actual thing. Grumpy cat.
I've barely
60
seen
million.
any of them. I know about Charlie biting a finger, but that's a bit behind the curve.
I went out with a catwalk model.
Did you?
Did you?
Yeah, this isn't legit. I really did.
It feels like it is
Well,
going to be.
They got a certain look about them, the catwalk model.
Hungry.
They look
Drawn.
was quite drawn. But she was she won't be listening. You know, they don't like them. They like them beautiful with a twist, if you know what I mean. So they like them. So from some angles, I would look at her and think, God, she's astonishing. And then other angles, I'd think, yeah, it's really weird. Just the turn of the head. And that's what they like. They like unusual nowadays.
All right.
What about that?
But Choupette is not unusual, is it? It's just looks like a cat.
It's quite a pretty cat.
Is that Jimmy Chew's cat?
Choupette.
Yeah.
Ironically, Karl Lagerfeld is always with Choupette near enough, isn't he? Choupette is the one thing he doesn't say. Choupette.
Oh, God.
Brilliant.
I feel we're in a deep pit.
We're sieving through the litter of jokes.
But last year, it earned slightly less than Cara Delevingne.
I feel sorry for her now. I feel sorry for beautiful, rich Cara Delevingne.
I do. But Cara Delevingne, what does she actually spend money on?
Eyebrow tints.
Cat
Well,
food.
she doesn't, does she? She gets
Cat
free.
food,
She's down
cream.
to get free makeup. She gets free clothes.
She must get some free clothes.
She lives on vapour. She steams vegetables and then puts a towel over her head and inhales it. I mean, she's spending less on food than the cat. So she wins well, not on all fours. I fancy the cat. I'm backing the cat on that. If the pair of them fell off a balcony, the cat would land on his feet, but Cara Delevingne would take 10 minutes to land.
Like a leaf.
Yeah, be taken by the wind. So she'd be all right.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
Hey, I went to a screening this week.
Oh, you've been everywhere, haven't you?
I have. Elvis exhibition, Sweeney Todd, and the Thunderbird screening, which was like, the preview of the show that starts tonight, actually.
Right.
On ITV, and I was a big fan of the original Thunderbirds, and in fact all those Jerry and Sylvia Anderson, puppet shows.
Yeah.
You aware of these, Zoe?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I know you're a young woman, but you must have heard of them.
Oh, yeah.
Even now, occasionally, if I'm driving home from somewhere, I'll get in the car and go, "On our way home," which is what Robert the Robot used to say in Fireball XL5.
Oh.
I find that very satisfying. I'm going to do it again. On our way home.
Which of the decade stations should that be on?
60s.
Absolute 60s.
Absolute 60s. Yeah, that's going to be my big jingle.
Yeah.
On Absolute 60s. For drive time.
Oh, perfect.
On our way home at drive time. God, I've got this worked out, the decade channels. And, that was the one. You'd have liked it, though. There was a character called Venus in XL5.
Right.
It was a sort of a sexy blonde Scandinavian.
Okay, I'm listening.
But she was a scientist.
Okay,
An
handy.
advanced space scientist who also did all the cooking
Oh,
on the
super.
spaceship.
She sounds great.
that would have been a job interview.
Yeah.
Do you cook? I beg your pardon.
I'll crack on with building the Hadron Collider after I've done the hoovering. That sort of thing.
Exactly.
Sounds awesome.
Well, different times.
Yeah.
I showed my son Boz, who's nearly 3. I showed him an episode of Fireball XL5 recently. Did I tell you this?
No.
And he said, I said, "What did you think?" And he said, "It's like a drawing." And I thought, what's he talking about? And he kept saying it's like a drawing. I couldn't. What he meant was I realised he'd never seen anything in black and white before.
Oh, right.
And he was trying to
It's
explain
like an
that.
etching.
Yeah, that's what he should have said.
Yeah.
The fool. And did you watch any of these, Al?
Yeah, I remember them. I mean, I don't like YouTube them like you seem to, but I remember.
I mean, I got the DVD box set.
I like
get you.
Thunderbirds. I like the Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the
I like the
Thunderbirds.
jerky movements of the Thunderbird. I quite enjoyed those.
See, all that's gone now.
yeah.
This is
Oh, has
this
it?
is sophisticated modern animation.
Is it CGI and all that stuff now?
I tell you, so when I really liked it. It's I mean, this is the first episode, so there's a lot of action in it. I was exhausted after. It's
really?
it's action upon action. It looks fantastic. And I tell you what, Lady Penelope now
Yeah.
is pretty hot.
Really?
I mean, I think it's all right to say this about animated characters.
Yeah, I
I'll
thought
be
she
loath
was,
to
she was
say it.
quite a good looker as a puppet.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
Was she?
Yeah.
I thought she was a bit Catherine Jenkins as a puppet. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but Do you know what I mean? She's got,
She had good hair as a puppet.
again, a bit Catherine Jenkins.
Okay.
Yeah. And do you remember the angels from Captain Scarlet? Harmony Angel Rap. They were like the pilot women. They were absolutely fabulous. Harmony Angel Rhapsody.
Did they also do the cooking?
Cacophony. No, I don't think they did. Travesty Angel.
Cacophony was
Lynn.
your nickname when you went to the musical theatre the other
I
day,
think it
wasn't
was. But it's an interesting tradition, the fancying of puppets and animated characters.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the last, it's now one of the last outposts of sexism, because you can talk about, whoa, fancy that lady Penelope, whereas if it was an actual film, you'd feel that was morally incorrect.
Yeah.
Look at the strings on that.
Exactly.
Yeah. How long have you fancied puppets? How long is a piece of string?
Have you ever tuned into womenlargejaw.com?
No.
That's a different kind of a website. It's for men who like women, women, anyone who likes women with big jaws.
Is it?
Like abnormally big jaws, or just a strong jaw?
Not like, people who would have been in freak shows in the 19th century. I mean, people like, who's on it? Minnie Driver.
Yeah, I think I can appreciate a larger jaw.
Yeah, we used to look it up.
Yeah, I think you will.
I don't plug much on this show.
But when you do, it's weird.
I'm writing that down, Frank.
Put womenlargejaw.com. Who else is on there? Gina Davis is on there.
Okay,
Selma Hayek.
Yeah. Actually, I do quite like a larger jaw.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you.
There you go.
That's my
See?
train journey.
Aren't you glad you came now?
That's going to brighten up my train journey.
Yeah, lovely. It's perfectly respectable. It means head and shoulders shot. It's the jaws they're after.
Yeah.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
If I was going to do a website about women with large jaws, I don't know if I'd call it womenlargejaw.com. Couldn't they come up with something better than that?
Well, even the syntax is wrong. Surely it should be large-jawed-women.com.
But it's not large, it's not even jawed, it's just jaw. Women large jaw. It's just a bloke just putting down basic, it's what you'd Google
Body
it
parts.
under.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonkyelbow.com. I don't know what that would be. There you go. I've discovered a new pleasure, and it's
And relax.
Is it daytime?
It's daytime pleasure.
Can broadcast this.
No,
I want to share it with
I
you.
thought you said, is it daytime? The new pleasure. Oh, are you nocturnal by nature?
Very much like a chinchilla. I just
Ah.
sit amongst shredded newspaper at home in the dark.
Oh, lovely.
People go, what is it? Is it a hamster? Is it a rat? I was like, no. I've discovered the pleasure of actually using coupons when shopping. This is a new pleasure I've discovered.
People still do that?
Yes, and it's coming back with a vengeance. And it's my other half, bless her, she's very good. She's quite frugal, and she will keep coupons when we go shopping. And you get your little coupons, sort of
Brilliant.
£3 off your next shop. And she always puts it in a drawer. And I haven't used them.
Coupon drawer.
A coupon drawer. The coupon drawer.
There must be other stuff in the coupon drawer.
There are keys that we no longer know what they're for, with odd key rings on, some plasters and some chalk. Don't
Okay.
ask. But recently I have started remembering the coupon, because that's the first thing with a coupon, you've got to remember that you've got it.
Yeah.
And I've
Yeah.
started remembering to take the coupons to the shop, and I can't tell you what a buzz I'm getting from it. It's
Oh, please do.
I got £5 off me shopping the other day. £5, that's practically free. I just wanted to punch the screen, the self-service screen, in delight. It's brilliant. A lot of people are doing it. There was a woman in the news this week, Jennifer Drew. She estimates she has made savings of over £17,000 in 3 years just by
What?
using coupons.
Brilliant.
70.
This
I mean,
has
she's bought a
passed me
lot of
by.
stuff she
Has
doesn't
it?
need. She's got 52 tubes of lotion and tons of nappies. I don't even know if she's got a kid, but there you go.
I think she's got a child, but not of nappy age anymore.
Well-
That's the bit that I find. Like,
Yeah, but you can wear them like pants.
Yeah.
I mean, I do
Rather
for
than-
long
rather than
drives.
throw 'em away.
but-
Also, they keep.
Yeah. Clean the floor with them.
Grandchildren.
Yeah.
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 Be glad of those. Also, people love a retro nappy.
Yeah.
A retro nap.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Even when I was completely broke, I could never be bothered to use actually going with a coupon. I'd rather eat tree bark.
I don't take them to... Right, if you're using a self-checkout, you don't have to... Nobody has to know you're using a coupon.
What do you do? You just have to
Scan
swipe
it.
them.
Oh, you can scan it. You can scan your coupons. And then nobody need know you're being
See,
What tight?
I use the online
Broken Britain.
coupon. I occasionally, when I'm in the middle of booking a hotel, I'll open another tab and just Google that particular hotel's name and discount code or something.
Really?
Did it yesterday. 30 seconds work. Got a £5 off my hotel. I mean, if I could do that every 30 seconds for an hour, that would be quite a big saving, wouldn't it? I could
but
probably
who
do
wants
like
to
3
do
less
that?
gigs a year.
Oh,
Me.
I dunno.
£5 in 30 seconds, Frank.
I was in a major high street chemist named after footwear,
Oh, yeah.
and I went up and I bought, was it shampoo I bought? And the woman said to me, "We got to buy one get one free on this."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "You can have another one for the same price." I said, "Well, I only want one." She looked at me like I'd got a Death to All Skinheads tattoo on my forehead. You know that look.
She was pro the skinhead. That's the look she gave you.
No, that was just a. I didn't know.
Why would a
that.
skinhead be buying shampoo?
Oh look! I actually knew a bloke who had Death to All Skinheads tattooed on his forehead, and he got some stares.
I'll bet.
But yeah, I only wanted one. How much shampoo do you need?
But it's not perishable, is it? Like, I've turned down the odd buy one, get one free on perishable foodstuffs, because I think it's a waste of food if you have it and then you don't eat it. But you could have just popped the shampoo in your bag and put it in a downstairs cupboard or something.
I got lamb chops the other week. 12 in a box.
What?
I mean, 12.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what,
So
it's gonna be
That's a serving for 2 in my household.
yeah, especially once the seagulls have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my girlfriend wouldn't eat a lamb chop, so basically I had to, the last 5, to get those down. It was like drink, you drink tequila. I was having salt, lamb chop, and then biting a lime. It's killing me, honestly. How much stuff do people need? I know you're all thinking it's all right with your money, but I tell you, when I was completely destitute, I still never touched a coupon.
I mean, in
I think
fairness,
you're missing out. It's a real buzz.
back then your priorities were different, though, weren't they?
Yeah, or if they'd had them at Threshers, it would have been different.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
Now, can I ask you two a question? This is a sort of a survey. When's the last time you had hiccups?
I get them. Yeah, when I bolt my food down a bit, I have to.
So in the last month, say, would you have had them?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Zoe?
Yeah, probably last 6 weeks, I would say.
Exactly. Now, when's the last time I had hiccups?
I can't answer that.
That's the phone.
I mean, I'm a big fan, but I just don't know.
Thanks, I appreciate that at least. Well, I haven't had them for 12 months.
What?
Okay.
Have you been checking your diary?
Well, I just know.
Exactly.
I find them really annoying, and they've just gone away completely.
You've just chosen not to have them anymore.
No, they just haven't happened. And this week, I did that, really eating something, and I thought, oh, this is a definite hiccup, and it just sort of went, hey, and then it went. That was it. And I thought, it's really weird that hiccups have gone out of my life completely. And then I had a thought. Now, bear with me. You may remember, I've talked about this on the show, but it's probably been about 12 months ago now. I was in a second-hand shop in Birmingham, and I saw a medallion of Pope Pius XII. Remember her? And so I bought it. Now, Pope Pius XII, I don't know how good you are on popes. He was pope during Second World War.
Okay.
It's not my first subject, but I'll believe you.
Okay. Well, yes, I mean, you argue with me on paternosters. This one now, trust me.
Don't think I did.
And I think since I've been wearing the Pius XII medallion, I haven't had hiccups.
Well.
Now, you might think, well,
Knock
what's
me
that?
down with
But
a
hold
feather.
on. But Pope Pius XII died of heart failure, partly weakened by an incredibly long bout. I mean, I'm like over a year's worth of hiccups.
What?
He was the
Wow.
hiccup pope.
Wow.
So
Was he really called the Hiccup Pope?
But he's called Hitler's Pope, which is, I know it's got more of a ring to it, but the Catholics don't like it as much. They'd rather be associated with indigestion than fascism. I know that might be hard to believe, but since I've been wearing the Pius XII, a man who had hiccups for many, many years, hiccups have gone out of my life.
So has this 12th oppressed your hiccups?
Well, I suppose any pope has got a... Is he an oppressive 12th?
Yeah.
Yes, I think he might have. I think basically I've been party to a hiccup.
It's a small miracle.
Hiccups-based miracle.
Oh.
It'd be more of a miracle if the next time you have hiccups, you hiccup just a loaf of bread and some fish as well. That would be...
Well, it's Easter. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Skinner, Dean and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
So, I understand Pius XII is currently up for sainthood.
Really?
Canonization. And, they need miracles to prove it. So do you think I should go forward?
Is that what happens? Is it like...
Yeah, you have to prove at least 2 miracles.
Like a big magic competition, and if they get it, they get...
It's a bit like it. It is a bit like that.
That's good, isn't it? I didn't know
I'd
that
let
was
Francis
the system.
know. I'd let him know.
Yeah, what if I turned it round with my no hiccups thing?
That's good.
That's a bit spooky, he must have been. I might phone Arthur C. Clarke. Does Arthur C. Clarke still do his show?
I think so.
All the good stuff's going off telly, isn't it?
Yeah. First Top Gear, now this.
So anyway, Zoe, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's always lovely to see you. I hope all our readers have a smashing Easter. I don't know what constitutes a smashing Easter in most people's houses. Chocolate?
Breaking an egg, yeah.
Yeah. Bit of egg.
Bacon and egg, you say?
That's every weekend for me.
Yeah, exactly. So, thank you for listening, and if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now, get out.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.